Hi, everybody. I'm Gwendolyn Sterk of Sterk Family Law. And as you know, we've been doing a series of interviews related to COVID-19 and actions that need to be taken by a lot of people. And today I am honored to be with Alexandra. Alexandra, welcome.
Hi, Gwen.
Can you tell us a little bit about what it is that you do?
Sure. My business is called GCG Consulting Group, and it's an HR-focused business where I work with small to medium-sized businesses and address any of their HR documentation needs. So that would include things like employee handbooks, job descriptions, performance evaluation tools, and any policies and procedures that they might need.
No, and I think that's really critical right now. You know, wouldn't you agree that COVID-19's really mandating, and I use the word mandating, that employers take a look at their employee handbooks and make revisions in them to address the situation with COVID. Would you not agree?
I would totally agree. Now is the time, employers and supervisors and managers, now is the time to be looking at those documents and reviewing them with your team, with your attorney, and so on, and making sure that you are covering all bases. Because if you are not taking care of your employees' health, and one of your employees gets sick because of the lack of safety measures taking place at your business, you could have a lawsuit on your hands.
Absolutely. And I think it's important not just to understand how we're going to have our employees conduct business, but we also have outsiders coming in as a general rule. All of us do. You might have a customer or a client coming in. You might have a vendor bringing deliveries in. So I think it's important that everybody start to address it. And, you know, overall, how does an employee manual really protect you on these issues?
So first of all, everybody needs to know what an employee manual is.
Okay.
And there's kind of some different terms. We hear handbook, we hear policy and procedure manual. A handbook is different than a policy and procedure manual. The handbook is more of an overview for the employee about different parameters in the business. It can include information about the business itself, like the hours of service, what the business does, what the makeup of the business is in terms of administration, things like that. But it also includes information about payroll, about benefits, about some other employment law related issues like sexual harassment, disabilities, and things like that. So the employee or the policy and procedure manual is a little bit different in that this is where the nitty gritty comes in with regard to the do's and the don'ts related to different things. So there should be in your policy and procedure manual, and also mentioned in the employee handbook, about safety. There should be a some sort of safety protocol, especially if you have a brick and mortar type of business. You've got to have a safety plan in there. And that includes everything from what happens if somebody's injured, like, you know, writing like an incident report, but it also includes things like, you know, bloodborne pathogens, if somebody's bleeding, or God forbid somebody's ill and there's bodily fluids somewhere, how to clean that up, how to keep that, you know, keep people safe from those things. And then
sure,
now
think about COVID now, you have to have a procedure about that, right?
Absolutely, you should. You absolutely should have COVID-related policies and procedures made up now. Absolutely. And
what kind of topics should you be addressing in those?
So you should be addressing, first of all, the safety of your workforce. That's first thing. That's the first thing that you should be thinking about, is the safety of your workforce. So that includes any type of restrictions that you're putting in place, social distancing measures. It includes gloves, masks. It includes the cleaning of restrooms. It includes what to do when somebody walks in the building, what to do when somebody leaves the building. It includes what they should expect when they walk in their office. How many times are we cleaning? How many times should we be sanitizing? How many times should we be washing our hands? What kind of you know, other parameters are we putting in place? And that information needs to come not only from trusted, reliable sources like the CDC and Illinois Department of Public Health, but also getting input from your employees. They're the ones in the brick and mortar. They're the ones doing the job. So get their input about what would make them feel safe. You know, now when you go into stores, you're seeing a lot of plexiglass, right? That separates you from the cashier. That might have to occur in the, you know, in the workforce. It may be that there's no more meetings together, that we're not sitting in the conference room anymore.
Could be a temperature check. I had that experience the other day going in a facility, and they weren't letting anybody pass without the temperature checked first. You couldn't even get past the front door.
Absolutely. And you can do that. That's perfectly within your right to have the temperature checked of your employees. You can do that.
Wait. It makes me feel a little uncomfortable because I got to tell you, if I was in 2019, I don't know that I would have thought the same way about telling my employee, I got to take your temperature before you walk in. But today, you wouldn't hesitate to do it because it's a safety protocol.
Absolutely. Yeah, things are changing, aren't they?
Things sure are
really changing.
And these policies need to be put in writing. I mean, also, I think it, extends to very basic things. And I'm going to share something with you, which I think is kind of funny. You know, they say an expectation in a store, you're going to wear a mask, or, a fast food place or a restaurant where you're picking up, and then you get there and the kid's got the mask half off. So how extreme do you really recommend people get?
Very specific, because I'll tell you what, let's say that you have a young person, or it doesn't even have to be a young person, but anybody who you're telling them they need to wear a mask, and they come into work and it's half on and half off. Right. And you say to them as the employer or supervisor, you say, Joe, you need to be wearing that mask. I am wearing the mask. It's on. See, it's here. But Joe, it needs to be over your mouth and your nose. Well, I've got it on. That's enough. In that policy, you need to be very specific. I know that might sound a little bit tedious to say that, but better safe than sorry. Your policies and procedures and your handbooks and those things are very much like having car insurance or any type of insurance. You hope that you never have to use them for anything, but I'll tell you, it comes in really handy when you do. And that's the same thing, with our policies. If you need to enforce them, they're going to be there. And yes, you mentioned earlier, they absolutely should be in writing. And you should also make sure that your employees have reviewed them and have signed off on some sort of document that said they reviewed them and that they understand them, so that there isn't any question about it if something should come up in terms of disciplinary action.
Sure, and I'm sure that people are out there, employers, and they're struggling economically. Maybe they were shut down, or business isn't the same as it was. They've had to make a lot of accommodations and different spending in different ways at a minimum. And they say, I don't have the money or the time to be worried about this. But the reality is they have to be, because if their workforce goes down, there's a real problem. Don't you agree?
Absolutely. Again, it would be the same thing. I don't have the money to pay for insurance right now.
Right.
Well, then you can't drive. So you have to find a way to make that work. And that's something that I assist with. I assist with drafting policies and procedures and handbooks and all of that sort of thing. So if you're not sure how to do it, or your HR department is overwhelmed, which a lot of them are, or you don't have an HR department and it's just, you're taking care of the HR stuff, that's where I come in, is that I can alleviate a lot of that stress for you and come up with these policies so that you don't have to do all that kind of work.
Well, that's great. Can you give everybody your contact information? So if there's an employer listening today and they say, goodness, I need help, where do I call?
Sure. You can call me at 708-204-7228, or you can email me at alexandra.g@comcast.net. And Alexandra is spelled Alexandra. And you can go to my website too, which is glumacconsulting.com, GLUMAC consulting.com.
Well, thanks for your time today. I hope that people are listening and that we move forward, because I don't think COVID's going away anytime soon.
No, and Gwen, I'm sure you and I will probably be talking COVID in these next few months as well. I look forward to it.
Well, thanks for your time today. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.